Hello, I'm the Black Looper, and welcome to my first Let's Play. Today I'll be playing Mystery Dungeon Shiren the Wanderer, for the DS. Koichi Sugiyama, you may recognize him from Dragon Warrior. He's the composer of all the music in this game. First, let's take a look at the opening sequence of this game. It features the song Town of the Traveling Condor. You'll be hearing this song multiple times if you play this game. This is a snapshot of Table Mountain, the main dungeon of this game. I'm going to start this game and create a travel journal, which is just a save file. This is going to be a long cutscene, so skip ahead if you want. Here, the main silent protagonist, Shiren, is introduced. Notice how this mimics the opening sequence. The goal of this game is to free the Golden Condor. We'll be playing as Shiren. But before we can do that, we'll have to tackle our first dungeon, the road to the Hamlet. This is just a tutorial dungeon that shows the game mechanics. Let's focus on the bottom screen where most of the action takes place. I picked up a rice ball. food is just meant to prevent Shiren from starving. Here we see our first combat mission. We're fighting the mammal, a monster with only 5 HP and drops 2 experience points. Notice the monster on the right. Another mammal. I've taken quite a beating. Right now I've only have 9 of 15 hit points. You can see that on top, which summarizes my health. The other numbers on top indicate the floor, the level, and also the amount of money I have. The goal is to reach the stairways on each floor. They're just the exit. Notice I'm on the 2nd floor now. The game prompts me to pick up a shield. A wood shield. It has only 3 defense. It's the worst shield in the game. So, naturally, it comes to us in the beginning of the game. Walking diagonally is a very important thing in Shiren. Because the game is a turn-based, it's a good way to close distance. I've just read a scroll of light. Notice that there's now an overlay over the screen. As you can see, the red dots correspond to enemies, blue dots correspond to items, and blue squares correspond to the stairways. Notice that as I enter a room, the rooms turn solid blue. The rest of the time they're just light. Here we pick up some money. That's all for this floor. After reading the description, we'll head up the stairs. The road to the Hamlet only has 5 floors, so we're already 40% of the way through. Make your enemies come to you. Each time Shiren punches, that takes up a turn. And each turn, the monster can take 1 step toward you. Now we pick up a weapon, a cudgel. The +2 indicates the enhanced attributes. So normally a cudgel has 2 strength. +2 means it now has 4. There are ways to increase these attributes, but weapons have an intrinsic limit to the amount of enhancements they can have. Alright, we've gone to the last room in this floor. I'll meet you back at the stairways. It's a good idea to search the entire floor for items. Notice we meet a new enemy. It looks very similar to the mammal, except for a palette swatch. This is the pit mammal. It's a level 2 monster. Its stats are nearly identical to the blue mammal. Most families of monsters have 4 levels to them. The first 2 levels for the mammal are nearly identical. However, the 2 higher levels are much more difficult to defeat, and you won't be seeing them till much later. Now I want to search the rest of this floor, so let's see where this road takes us. A room with 2 items. I'm just gonna pick these gitans up and I'll meet you back at the stairway. You don't always have to fight an enemy. Since you just want to reach the stairs, we could just leave. Monsters are generally asleep when you first enter a room, so slowly approach them. Make your enemies come toward you. I'm not going to use this scroll of light since this is the last floor of the dungeon. I'd like to save it in the future. This is actually a very long path we're gonna take, but it's gonna lead to the exit. I'm not gonna explore the rest of the floor, so let's just head on up. And we've cleared the road to the Hamlet. It's the easiest dungeon in the game, so don't expect the rest of the game to be this easy. Each time you clear a dungeon, you're presented with your adventure results. Look at the score. And we reach Canyon Hamlet. Each time you start the game, you start from this city. Let's explore. First, let's enter the bar. Let's talk to the barman. Each time you start an adventure, talk to the barman. He gives you food. Useful so that Shiren doesn't starve. When Shiren reaches a level when he starts starving, he loses HP. Here we see the warehouse. It's where you can store items. Notice that Shiren the Wanderer is a roguelike, so each time Shiren dies or falls, he loses all the items he carries. However, if there are certain items that are too rare or too precious, you can just store them at the warehouse so that you don't lose them permanently. However, that means they will not be in your active inventory. Next, let's look at the inn. This is the spawn point. Each time Shiren starts a game, it's where he starts from. Alright, for our next episode, we're gonna need to talk to the foreign vagabond. He introduces us to the next dungeon, Table Mountain. But let's not be too hasty. There are other things we could do. For instance, we could do a traveler rescue. Right now it's too early in the game to do it, but it's a good way to earn rare items. So keep that in mind. The other thing you could do is solve phase puzzles. That's directly in front of us here.